Hey, welcome to Feeling Twisty. I'm sitting outside and it's kind of a blustery day, enjoying the cool weather. But I'm telling you that to say I hope the wind that I'm feeling isn't coming across too loudly on the over the microphone. I hope you can still hear me. So, in Joshua, the book of Joshua in the Old Testament, it says God is speaking to Joshua, which is the same name as Jesus in the Bible. God saves, or God saved, Jehovah saved, or rather, I am is salvation. So I am, our own awareness is speaking to Joshua, and personified as his character, separate character God in the Bible. It says, every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given you. Just with those words, face value, that's awesome. If you look into get your concordance and look what soul means power. And foot, well, soul has several meanings. It's also referring to the hand, a paw of an animal, but figuratively, the definition is power. And foot is also is used as a euphemism for the pudenda. So we're talking about creation, a creative act. Just like the soul, it's used soul here, but that same word is used in the story of Jacob wrestling with the angel, and the angel touches the hollow of his thigh. And that same word hollow, meaning there, the reproductive parts, again talking about creation. It's the same word used there, the sole of your foot. So wherever you go, in imagination, I have given you. I love how when I study verses, I come across so many and I think, well, this one verse sums everything up. That answers everything for me. Wherever I go in imagination, I am. Wherever my awareness goes, wherever I put my attention is given to me. Wherever, good, bad, or indifferent, like Neville says. If I put my attention on being unloved, ignored, overlooked in life, in the social game, or at work, that's what I'm giving myself. I'm giving myself whatever I'm putting my attention on, my awareness. If my concept of myself is small and separate, then that's what I experience. If I see myself, my concept of myself is a loving father, a loved and loving husband, financially flush with cash, famous, whatever. I am that. It was given to me. Every desire is a promise. Now, I'm stealing that quote from the I Am Love website. I love that article, though. Every desire you have is a promise, a glimpse into what is yours. Like that verse says, wherever you go, wherever the sole of your foot treads, I have given to you. So when you have a desire, take it, accept it. Don't worry about if you're deserving of it. Why? What does that matter? You have no one to ask for approval. No one. Because no one in your world is outside of your own consciousness. Your consciousness leads. And everything else you experience in this 3D world is just an echo of that. It follows what your consciousness is aware of, what you're conscious of. What Neville calls your imagination. Whether it's you're sick and you've been sick and the pain is so great, it's okay. It's okay. Because that can change in an instant. Everything you're experiencing, the physical pain, emotional pain, right now, is only showing you what you've been imagining. Whatever you're assuming to be true about yourself is what you're experiencing. So let's say you have assumed that you are healed. You've gone into imagination, whether you've created a scene or you just ask yourself, what would it feel like to know, to be healed? And you've assumed it to be done. Whatever tool you use, affirmations, an imaginal scene, what I like is just assuming it's done. I like them all. I don't dislike any. My favorites, though, are sinking down into the silence and creating an imaginal scene, implying my wish is fulfilled. Or just assuming it's done. Ah, yes, thank you. Whatever you've done, but yet you're still feeling the pain. That's okay. Doesn't mean you didn't do it right. Doesn't mean you dug up the seed, unless you believe you did. If you assume you didn't do it right, then that's what you're going to experience. When I was healed, I wasn't walking around, running, doing cartwheels, a few hours later or the next day or even a few days later. But I didn't believe or assume that I failed in the assumption that I was healed. I was still sick, still in pain, but I just knew it was done. I had no way of knowing how it would be done. And for me, being something that seems so monumental, so momentous, or what's the right word, big, even though there is no size, being healed is no different than getting through traffic. I didn't worry about that. For me, though, back to what I was saying, it seemed such a big deal. There was no way I could figure out a way because medical science wasn't helping me. I wasn't a prospect for brain surgery or anything. So I just had to do nothing but trust in the assumption that it was done. Someone asked me recently, did I have anxiety or did I doubt it over those days? No, I didn't. I didn't doubt. I didn't worry about it. Not at all. Not one moment did I think I didn't do it right. Now, there have been plenty of times since then where I've overstudied and over-searched for things on the internet for answers because I talked about this in a couple of episodes recently where I thought I needed more. I must not be doing it right. But it's okay. If you feel like you didn't do it right, then bring that scene back. Bring up that feeling of the wish fulfilled again. Or just continue assuming that it's done. Even if you have moments of anxiety, that's okay. You make up the rules. There's no website that's giving you the rules that you have to follow. Neville doesn't give you everything that you have to follow. Or any of the other folks you can find online or in books. They're giving you what works for them, and your own desire, your own consciousness, your own awareness brought you to that, or brought them into your consciousness. Did I say that right? You're assuming there's something out there for you to learn, and you're finding it. But you already have all the power you need. Because you literally have all the power. All the time. And I used to use the imagination as Neville taught it, and I've mentioned this before. I've used it as just a tool out of a toolbox, my imaginal hammer or screwdriver as needed. Whenever I had a problem, and let me fix it with imagination. But then I was just letting my mind run amok the other 23 hours a day, faced with all kind of junk in the world, because that's just the way I assumed the world. I assumed it to be like that. But all day long and night, I am faced with the echo of what I assume to be true about me and my world. So if you want to, if it feels good, do it. If you want to, well, whatever you want to do, just do it. And I'm not just talking about an imagination. Whatever you want to be, big and famous, you want to be rich, you want to have a big new house or a small new house, or live in the mountains, move to a different country. It's your world. What do you want to do? Don't let reasoning get in the way. I've done that. I've noticed many times where I've thought about things that I want, and then I instantly start thinking, well, no, that's not really reasonable. I don't have to be rich. I can just be comfortable. Well, it didn't have to be comfortable. I could just get by. I start negotiating with myself between what I want, what my desire is, and what my carnal mind, what the outer man, the Esau, or you might call it the ego. I start arguing with myself about what I want and what's really reasonable. What would your parents say? You can't move away. Your parents are still here in town. Oh no, I don't have any experience in that job. I never would have gotten into radio a couple of decades ago had I thought, I don't have the experience, because I didn't have the experience. I just assumed I was going to be on the microphone, and within a few months I was, and within a year I was the news director. I didn't let reasoning stop me, or what should be happening based on what my physical world tells me. Oh, well, there have been plenty of times where I've reasoned myself out of my desires. But like that verse says, wherever the sole of your foot treads, I have given it to you. So if you see God as your awareness, your imagination, your consciousness, who you really are, and you're telling yourself, wherever you go, wherever you move, wherever you step, whatever you want, I've already given it to you. It's already yours. And anything you can think of, things might be popping into your head right now about, yeah, but this and but that. Get those buts the hell out of your life. I know from experience, I've had plenty of buts. Yeah, but what about this? And yeah, but I want a fireplace. I want a fireplace in my bedroom. Yeah, but it's so hot outside. The weather's never going to be good enough for a fireplace. Stop doing that. I've done it. I've done that so many times. But that's fine. I'm expanding and I'm learning. I'm understanding more and more who I really am. And like I mentioned to Dan in an email today. Thanks, Dan, for the email, by the way. And hey, up in wherever you are. I'm not going to say because I didn't ask you for permission, but thanks for the email. Dan's a listener. And we were, anyway, I totally forgot what I was saying. I got busy saying hi to Dan and I forgot where I was going. I'll come back to it. So wherever the sole of your foot, wherever you go, I'm going to combine verses. Wherever the sole of your foot, or wherever you go in imagination, whatever your desire is, be believing that you have received it, because you already have. That's also Mark 11:24. I believe everything begins and exists in our own consciousness. So wherever we go, whenever I move in imagination, whenever I pray, because prayer means motion toward, accession to, vicinity of. It means movement. Wherever I move in imagination, I've already received it. It's mine. And all I have to do is just continue assuming that it's mine. Continue dwelling in the state of fulfillment, that it is done. Yeah, so what? The five senses tell you, indicate something different at the moment. So, don't give that any power. You give everything you experience meaning. Only you. I can't create the meaning for you. Only you can. So just don't give it any meaning. Like Neville says, don't accept it. You know what's true. You've already moved in imagination. And since you are the only operant power, it's just you. Who could dissuade you from that? Who outside in the physical world, a seeming other, could take that away from you? No one. The only way anybody can control you or take your hope away from you is if you imagine that they have some kind of control over you. They're only yourself, a reflection of your own consciousness. No one has any power over you. No one. I used to love to blame other people. I would, all through my life. Well, it's their fault and this fault. It's my parents' fault. It's my siblings' fault. It's the boss is a butthole. It's their fault. No, I was only getting back a reflection of what my own concept of myself, my own consciousness. You only see what you're conscious of. So instead of reasoning and budding yourself out of what you really want, drop all that. Drop reason. Who wants to be a reasonable person? Drop reason and drop the facts of the world. And take whatever desire you have and assume it's done. Yeah, I am that. I am that I am. That's me. I don't know if you could hear that just now. My dog, she's an Aussie blue heeler, got right in my face just now and started licking my face while I was talking. So that wasn't me smacking. That was my dog. I didn't want to stop talking. So anyway, whatever you want to be, whoever you want to be, whatever you want to experience, drop the reason and the ways it should be, because you're making up the rules. You're making them up. You want to have a love-filled relationship? Do that. Imagine yourself loved and loving. As a spouse or as a partner, as a dad, whatever. It's up to you. And if you have moments of anxiety, do what I do and do what so many people do. Do what Neville described as the first principle. Drop down into that silence. Just be still. Be still and know that I am God. That my awareness is writing this story. Like I said the other day, I like looking at it as, instead of God, I like saying, I am the author. I am the author, the producer, director, and all the actors playing the parts. I have the final edit. I get to do the editing. I don't have to ask for anyone else's approval. I don't have to ask for someone's advice. I'm not saying advice if you seek someone out for advice, not if you want to do that. You don't have to do it. There's no rule that says I need to get approval from anyone to edit my story or to completely rewrite it. Have fun with it. You have a desire come up right then, at that moment. Don't wait. Don't think, okay, tonight I'm going to go home. Before I go to sleep, I'm going to write my list. I'm going to write some affirmations. No. If you want to do that later, fine. But from my own experience, when that desire comes up, if my awareness is the author, is God, then at the moment, whether I'm driving, shopping, lying in bed, wherever, when that desire pops up, I don't wait. I take it right there and accept it. And I rejoice inside knowing it's mine. And it's exciting knowing if I have a desire, I don't think, well, is that wrong? Should I do that? I'm not the right orientation or persuasion, or I'm not right from the right country or from the right part of the country. I don't ask myself any of that. I used to. No, if I have that desire, I accept it. It's so much fun. So don't have anxiety over having anxiety. Don't give that any meaning. So you have an anxious moment or an anxious day. Doesn't mean your seed's pulled up. Doesn't mean you ruined it and you have to start over. Don't give it any meaning. And revise it if you want to. If you want to revise it, revise that situation. Revise the whole day. You've got this. I'm imagining lovingly for all of you. I love that you're listening. I love talking about this. Shoot me an email at feelingtwisty@gmail.com or find me on Facebook. We have a Feeling Twisty podcast page. I'm on Facebook as Mike Brignac. Well, Mike W. Brignac. All right, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Have fun. Take those desires as promises. Because the promise is right there. I read it to you. Wherever the sole of your foot treads, I've given it to you. Wherever you move in imagination, whatever your desire is, be believing that you've already received it. Because you have. You have been healed already. You have that healing. You have the financial success. You have the fame. You have the 5 million likes, or what do you call it, followers on Twitter or Instagram. Whatever you want, you have it. Just continue assuming that it's done. Dwell in the state of your wish fulfilled. All right, I love you. This is Feeling Twisty.